Have you ever wondered what happens if you drink water first thing in the morning before eating anything? It's a tip that's been floating around wellness circles for ages. Some people swear by it, claiming it boosts energy, clears skin, and even aids digestion. But as a creator who likes to get to the bottom of things, I'm always curious about the actual tangible benefits. Is it just a placebo effect, or is there some real science, some noticeable change when you make this one simple adjustment to your daily routine? It's easy to hear these things, but experiencing them is a whole different ballgame, and that's what I wanted to explore. So I decided to put it to the test. For one entire month, I committed to drinking a glass of water on an empty stomach every single morning, right after waking up, before my coffee, before breakfast, before anything else. I wanted to see if this seemingly small habit could make a discernible difference in how I felt, looked, or performed throughout the day. I tracked my energy levels, my digestion, my skin, even my hunger cues. I tried drinking water on an empty stomach every day for a month, and here's what I discovered. Now, before we dive in, remember, this is my personal experience. While many of these benefits are backed by general health knowledge, how it impacts one person can differ for another. My goal here is to share my journey, the ups, the downs, the subtle shifts, and the more surprising observations. I'm not claiming this is a miracle cure for anything, but rather an exploration into a very accessible wellness practice. So grab your own glass of water, get comfortable, and let's break down what a month of morning hydration actually did for me. One of the first things proponents of morning water talk about is improved digestion. And honestly, this was an area I was particularly interested in. The theory goes that drinking water on an empty stomach helps to flush out the digestive system, prepare it for the first meal of the day, and potentially stimulate bowel movements. It's like giving your internal plumbing a gentle rinse before it has to process food. I was curious to see if this would translate into a noticeable change for me, as sometimes my mornings could feel a bit sluggish, if you know what I mean. I wasn't expecting miracles, but any improvement in regularity or comfort would be a welcome change. Over the first week, I can't say I noticed a dramatic overnight transformation. However, as I moved into the second and third week, I did start to observe a more consistent pattern. Things just felt smoother. Waking up and having that initial glass of water seemed to gently wake up my digestive system. It wasn't an aggressive effect, but more like my body was saying, okay, I'm ready for the day now. I found that I experienced less of that post-breakfast bloating that can sometimes occur, and overall, my gut just felt a bit more settled throughout the morning. It felt like the water was helping to dilute stomach acids and prepare the environment for food. By the end of the month, I could confidently say that this habit had a positive, albeit subtle, impact on my digestive regularity. It wasn't a cure-all for every digestive woe, but it certainly seemed to encourage a more predictable and comfortable start to my day. Think of it like this. Your body has been in a state of rest and repair all night. Introducing water first thing is like a gentle signal to your organs, including your digestive tract, that it's time to get back to work. It helps in hydrating the colon, which can make bowel movements easier and prevent constipation, a common issue for many people. For me, this simple step made my mornings feel more efficient and comfortable from the inside out. Another major claim for the morning water ritual is a boost in energy levels. We all know that dehydration can lead to fatigue and brain fog, so it makes sense that rehydrating first thing could combat that morning grogginess. Our bodies are about 60% water, and even mild dehydration can impact our physical and mental performance. After a full night's sleep, you're naturally a bit dehydrated because you haven't had any fluids for several hours. I was eager to see if the simple glass of water could genuinely make me feel more alert and less reliant on that immediate caffeine hit. I'm a coffee drinker, and I usually look forward to that first cup to really get my brain in gear. However, during this experiment, I made sure to have my water at least 20 to 30 minutes before my coffee. What I started noticing, especially around the 10-day mark, was a subtle but definite increase in my baseline morning alertness. It wasn't like a jolt of caffeine, but more like the fog lifted a little quicker. I felt more awake, more present, even before my coffee. It was as if my cells were getting the hydration they needed to function optimally right from the get-go. This effect seemed to compound over the month. While I still enjoyed my coffee, I didn't feel as desperately dependent on it to feel human. The water seemed to provide a more natural, sustained kind of energy. It's like topping off your car's fluids before a long drive. Everything just runs a bit smoother. This makes sense from a physiological standpoint too. Water is essential for nearly every bodily function, including energy production at a cellular level. So by rehydrating immediately upon waking, I was essentially giving my body the fuel it needed to start the day with a bit more vigor, reducing that initial slump. Okay, let's talk about skin. This is always a big one when it comes to hydration. The promise is that drinking enough water, especially starting your day with it, can lead to clearer, more supple, and glowing skin. Dehydrated skin can often look dull, feel tight, and be more prone to fine lines. While I knew a month wasn't going to give me an entirely new complexion, I was hopeful I might see some positive changes in terms of hydration and perhaps a reduction in minor blemishes or dryness. I diligently took my water each morning, wondering if my skin would thank me. For the first couple of weeks, any changes were very minimal. I didn't suddenly wake up with supermodel skin, which, let's be real, was never the expectation. However, as I approached the end of the third week and into the fourth, I did start to notice that my skin felt a bit more plump. It's hard to describe, but it seemed to have a little more bounce to it, a bit more resilience. The usual dry patches I sometimes get around my nose and cheeks seemed less pronounced, and my skin overall felt softer to the touch. It wasn't a dramatic transformation, but a subtle improvement in its overall texture and hydration level. While I can't definitively say the morning water was the reason, as skin health is multifactorial, it certainly felt like a contributing factor to a healthier overall look and feel. Think about how a plant perks up when you water it after it's been a bit dry. Our skin cells are similar. They need adequate hydration to function properly, repair themselves, and maintain their elasticity. Starting the day by providing that internal hydration likely helped my skin retain moisture better throughout the day. It wasn't a magic bullet for perfect skin, but it was a noticeable, positive shift towards a more hydrated appearance. An interesting aspect I was keen to observe was the impact on my hunger levels, particularly those pre-breakfast hunger pangs or the urge to snack before my first proper meal. Sometimes thirst can be mistaken for hunger, and I wondered if starting the day with a good dose of water would help my body differentiate between the two, potentially leading to feeling less ravenous in the morning. The idea is that water can help fill up the stomach, temporarily promoting a sense of satiety. This could, in theory, lead to more mindful eating at breakfast. What I found was quite interesting. On the days I drank my water first thing, I did notice a slight reduction in that immediate urgent need to eat. It wasn't that I wasn't hungry for breakfast, but the hunger felt less like an emergency and more like a gentle reminder. This allowed me to be more thoughtful about my breakfast choices, rather than just grabbing the quickest thing available because I was starving. It also seemed to curb the temptation to have a little pre-breakfast snack while I was preparing my actual meal, which was a small but positive change. Over the month, this became a consistent observation. The water seemed to provide a buffer, giving me a bit more control over my morning appetite. It's not a weight loss strategy in itself, but by helping to manage those initial hunger signals, it could potentially contribute to better portion control and reduced calorie intake, if that's a goal for someone. For me, it was more about feeling more balanced and less hangry as I started my day. It allowed me to approach breakfast with a calmer appetite, which I believe is always a good thing for digestion and overall eating habits. Finally, let's talk about overall hydration. One of the most straightforward yet perhaps most impactful benefits I experienced was how this simple morning habit influenced my hydration for the rest of the day. It's easy to get busy and forget to drink enough water as the hours fly by. We all know we drink more water, but actually doing it consistently can be a challenge. I was curious if front-loading my hydration would create a positive domino effect, and it absolutely did. By starting my day with a significant glass of water, around 16 to 20 ounces, I was already a good step towards meeting my daily hydration target before my day even really began. This initial commitment made it psychologically easier to keep the momentum going. It was like, well, I've already started well, might as well keep it up. I found myself more consciously reaching for my water bottle throughout the morning and afternoon, and I was hitting my daily water intake goals much more consistently than before the experiment. This, for me, was one of the most significant and sustainable benefits. It wasn't just about that one glass of water in the morning, It was about how that one glass reshaped my hydration habits for the entire day. Better overall hydration has a cascade of benefits. Improved cognitive function, better physical performance, healthier organ function, the list goes on. So, while the other specific benefits like digestion and energy were noticeable, the way this habit improved my total daily water intake felt like the biggest win, laying a better foundation for my overall health and well-being. So, after a full month of diligently drinking water on an empty stomach, what's the final takeaway? For me, it was a surprisingly positive experience. While it wasn't a magic potion that transformed every aspect of my health overnight, the cumulative effects were definitely noticeable and beneficial. I experienced smoother digestion, a subtle but sustained boost in morning energy, slightly more hydrated feeling skin, reduced immediate hunger pangs before breakfast, and most importantly, a significant improvement in my overall daily hydration habits. It's a simple, accessible, and virtually free habit to adopt. Of course, everyone's body is different, and what worked for me might manifest differently for you. The key is consistency and listening to your own body. There's very little downside to trying this, assuming you don't have any medical conditions that would make increased water intake an issue. And if you do, always check with your doctor first. But for most of us, adding a glass of water to the start of our day is a healthy step we can easily take. It's not about drastic changes, but about those small, sustainable habits that contribute to long-term well-being. I definitely plan on continuing this practice. The benefits, even the subtle ones, are worth the minimal effort it takes. So what do you think? Have you tried this before? What was your experience? Try it for yourself and see what changes you notice.